Good evening, and welcome back to the Shadow Nook. This evening we are going to a place rather well known, not usually for its paranormal activity, but more for its thrills in a different area. This place is none other than the infamous Alton Towers here in the Midlands. Alton Towers is one of the UK's largest and most beloved theme parks. However, beneath all of the rollercoasters and colourful attractions lies over 200 years of aristocratic history, ruin, tragedy and ghostly folklore. The site was once known as Alton Lodge, later transformed into a grand Gothic estate, and then, as we know it today, as a theme park. Originally the seat of the Earls of Shrewsbury, specifically the powerful Talbot family, were the owners of the estate. The estate dates back to at least the 8th century, with later expansions built across the medieval and Tudor periods. The estate is known historically as Alton Abbey, occupied by Cistercian monks before passing through a number of noble families. The most significant transformation occurred under Charles Talbot, the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury, in the early 1800s. He remodelled the estate into a sprawling Gothic revival mansion, complete with ornate towers and turrets, vast landscaped gardens, underground passageways, artificial lakes and waterfalls. The Earl intended it to be one of the most impressive private estates in all of England. There is actually a famous legend that surrounds the Earl of Shrewsbury and the old woman's curse. During a storm, the Earl's coach accidentally struck and killed a poor woman. Her dying words allegedly cursed the Earl. The curse read, "For every branch on the old oak tree that falls, a member of your family will die." This story became folklore, tied deeply to the estate's later tragedies. By the late 19th century and early 20th century, the Shrewsbury family hit severe financial decline. Much of the mansion was sold, dismantled, or simply left to decay. After World War II, the building fell into ruin, with roofs collapsing, rooms stripped, and many areas unsafe and evidently sealed off. The grounds reopened to the public as a tourist attraction, eventually evolving into Alton Towers Resort as we know it today. So let's move on to the primary haunting of Alton Towers itself, known as the Curse of the Earl, as we previously mentioned. The Curse of the Earl is said to stem from the confrontation with the old woman struck by the Earl's coach. The Earl reportedly obsessed over the curse, fearing every storm and every falling branch of the oak tree. Oftentimes there were sightings of a weeping old woman near the site of the collision. oftentimes visitors hearing hooves on cobblestone, a woman screaming or moaning during storms, and sudden cold drafts beneath the old oak tree. Staff claim that thunderstorms bring heightened activity, such as lights flickering throughout the estate, doors slamming, and shadows moving across the ruins. More modern stories involve the story inspired by the famous ride named 13, which draws from the cursed oak narrative. Guests report uneasy feelings and an unnatural quietness around the area. There's some more general paranormal activity around the ruins of Alton Towers. The remains of the stately home are notoriously active. Common reports include shadow figures moving from room to room, whispering voices in empty corridors, cold spots and unexplained shivers, and footsteps in areas that are closed to the public. In the banqueting hall, once the grand centrepiece of an aristocratic gathering, now associated with apparitions of elegantly dressed Victorian figures, echoes of laughter and clinking glasses, as if a party still lingers. And paranormal teams often capture EVPs of a male voice demanding people to leave. We also have an area called the chapel. This is one of the most active parts of the mansion. Reports include a dark-robed figure, believed to be a former monk, sudden drops in temperature around the pews, and feelings of being watched or followed. Some visitors describe a suffocating pressure when entering, as though the room rejects modern intruders. A more concerning apparition that is seen and heard is that of the screaming child. The screaming child is often reported around the tower's ruins and the surrounding gardens. Rumours tell of a young girl who lived in or visited the estate during its aristocratic period. She is said to have fallen from one of the high tower windows. Soft crying is known to echo throughout the corridors at dusk, and staff, often closing the area for the night, report a child's laughter turning into screams, a fleeting silhouette of a small figure in white. Some claim she tries to hold the hands of lone visitors, causing sudden cold patches and tingling sensations. As with many other locations we have covered, Alton Towers also has a Grey Lady. The Grey Lady is believed to be one of the Talbot family women, possibly a former countess, associated with sorrow and loss after multiple family tragedies, including deaths linked to the Earl's curse. A translucent woman, in a flowing grey gown is often seen near the conservatory along the lakeside paths and drifting silently through the gardens at night. This apparition is reported to be harmless but melancholic. Witnesses often describe the smell of old perfume, a sudden stillness in the air when she appears, and a sense of overwhelming sadness. There is often reports of activity in the orangery. The ornate orangery, now partially ruined, once hosted elite gatherings, dances and intimate musical performances. Often guests claim to hear faint classical music, piano notes and soft humming. It is important to note that no sound equipment is actually present in the orangery, and staff often find the area silent upon inspection. Residual haunting from the estate's golden age is often speculated. A musician or performer who once played for the Talbots, perhaps. Now venturing outside of the estate to the gardens and grounds. The gardens and grounds match the grandeur of the buildings with Gothic garden architecture. The garden's tunnels, arches and stone structures create natural echo chambers, ideal for ghostly lore and atmospheric phenomena. Often, activity that is reported consists of shadow figures darting between the trees, a hooded figure seen at the Chilean Pines walkway, strange mists forming even on dry, warm nights, and whispering voices as if carried through the hedges. Have you ever visited Alton Towers yourself? If you have, let me know down below if you have witnessed or experienced any of these paranormal happenings there. The contrast of the modern theme park and the crumbling, haunted stately home is often pondered. The tragic legacies of the Shrewsbury family and the Talbots are often thought about when visiting. Next time you do visit Alton Towers, perhaps look up at the windows to see if you can spot anything, or if you see something darting between the trees, just look again, as you may not be just seeing something. Before you go, let's do your oracle card reading. As usual, I will draw one card for you and you can interpret it however you like. We have authenticity attracts. Being authentic attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones. When you stay true, you naturally filter out those who don't align with your path. Let me know down below what this could possibly mean to you. Thank you again for joining me this evening in the Shadow Nook. Don't forget to collect your subscription on your way out. Sleep well.